Hello, hi, it's me again, Minister Yolanda, Evangelist Yolanda, Prophetess Yolanda, Yolanda, whatever you want to call me. I'm trying to get my recording right and trying working on the sound bite. So you guys bear with me as we get this done. Um, I'm going to the video on yesterday. It was cut. It was a 30-minute video, and I'm still working on trying to splice it so that I can put the second half, the remaining 15 minutes, because it only gave you guys 15 minutes of a 30-minute video. So I've got to figure out how to slice it so that I can give you guys the full effect, the full message that I gave on yesterday, and where I was talking about communicating and knowing who you are by knowing who you are in God by communicating with God. So today I want to continue on with that, but put a little bit in a different light this time. We're going to talk about knowing, trying to learn how to identify the distractions and the obstacles that get in the path of our communication with God. Because we can have a communication with God where we are communicating with God and we get everything is great, and all of a sudden something will come along that causes a distraction and we lose our focus and we're no longer focused primarily on our relationship with God and keeping our right self with God, keeping ourselves in a right standing with God, because we get distracted, and it's because of the flesh. The flesh wants what it wants, when it wants it, how it wants it, and a lot of times if we are not careful, we can get caught up and we can get distracted, and then we fall just like Eve. Eve was fine until Satan came along in the second chapter of Genesis and the third chapter of Genesis, where he came along and he began to taunt at her and he began to question her about what God told them about the tree that they were not supposed to eat of. But if you read in the Message Bible translation of it, it kind of puts it in a way that we talk today. He didn't ask her, did God tell you you can't eat of any food, any tree? He said, God told you you can't eat of any tree, didn't he? See, in other words, it is a play of words. If you don't put emphasis on the word, then a person would know that you are. If you don't put emphasis on it, it doesn't have the same effect as if you put emphasis. Like, in other words, if I say I'm going to a store, then I could be going to any store. But if I say I'm going to Walmart or I'm going to the store, okay, putting emphasis on the means that there's only one store I'm going to, and if you know me, you know that store. Or if I say I'm not seeing anyone, or you think, okay, so she's not dating. Or if I say I'm not seeing any man, I just put emphasis on man, and I'm not fixing to get into a whole lot of preference thing here. I'm not, because that's a whole nother debate. And trust me, my preference is what God intended my preference to be. But I just use that as an illustration. So when Satan said to her, any tree, then that he was putting emphasis on all of the trees in the garden. He wasn't putting emphasis on the one tree that God told them not to touch. He was putting emphasis on all of the trees, the collective. He said any in a way to say collectively. Now, with that being said, her mind said, "Oh, no, we can eat of any tree in the garden except." See, she continued where he cut it off. She said, except the one tree. And then she began to say why God told them they couldn't eat of that tree. Y'all know what? Sometimes we talk too much. And I'm not just talking for those of you guys that want to say, well, see, there's a woman that said it. Now, sometimes guys talk too much too. So we as human beings, we talk too much. Because if she just said, you know what? Ain't but no, that ain't what he said. But okay, whatever. I ain't finna stand here and talk to you and let you put my daddy down. I'm finna go on about my business. See, if she had that foresight to do that and to say that and the strength to say that, then she'd have been okay. Okay, but then because she said no, he said we can't eat of, we can have of any tree in the garden except. And then she said what tree it was. Then he jumped on there and said, oh, no. He lied. You can eat off that tree. I'm going to tell you why he don't want you to eat off that tree. Because he know when you eat off that tree, you going to be as smart as him. He know when you eat off that tree, your eyes going to be open. And you going to see life for what it really is. Okay? So when he told her that, and then he kept drawing her attention to that tree. He kept saying things that would make her look at that tree and want what was in that tree or on that tree. So finally she turned and she looked at that tree, and boom, there it was. When she looked at the tree that time, she saw something that looked good to her. She saw something that she felt like she could eat that and it's going to be okay. Because see, the serpent done already put those thoughts in her head and put those thoughts in her mind. So she goes ahead and she gets the fruit. Oh, it's good. Oh my God. He was right. God didn't want us to know this was good. This was good like this. Here, baby, eat some. He was sitting right there. She didn't have to go looking for Adam. Adam was sitting right there. So that brings in another. Okay, for the men that want to say women talk too much, sometimes men don't talk enough. Because if Adam had opened his mouth when the serpent was talking to Eve and cut that serpent, I would say, no, dude, this is my woman right here. You finna move around. You won't get away from you. If he would have been the watchman on the wall, if he'd have been protecting that woman like God told him to, then guess what? Satan never would have been able to trick her up, because her man would have had her front, her back, her side, her top, and her bottom. But see, you know what? I'm going to go here with y'all because I'm just real like that. Okay, I ought to call this show Real Talk with Evangelist Yolanda. I'm just going to be real with y'all. What it was Brother Adam was, because he probably was standing behind Eve. He was too busy checking out her butt, checking out her rear. Okay, don't act like y'all don't talk like this. Don't act like I'm being just too out there, because guess what? Some of y'all up in the church the sister can't get up in y'all pulpit and preach at y'all church, and God got a call on her life to preach, and y'all tell her she ain't called because y'all too busy looking at boobs and butt. Instead of looking at the anointing of God, instead of keeping your focus on God, you too busy looking at the package. And it ain't even about the package, it's about the Spirit of God inside. And it come back all the way back to Adam. Y'all quick to say, if it wasn't for Eve, well, if it wasn't for Adam. Because in the end, Eve wasn't there when God told Adam. She had not been created yet. Go back to Genesis 1. Okay? Go back into Genesis 1 and you will see that Eve was not even created yet. God had created Adam. Adam was there when God created the animals and this and that and the other. And then he put Adam to sleep and created the woman. He had already created that tree. He had already given Adam the instructions about that tree when he told Adam what he told Adam. Eve was not there. Then Eve came along. So it was Adam's job to instruct Eve the way God instructed him. Up until this time, he hadn't seen the serpent, or he probably had seen the serpent, but the serpent was subject to him. Meaning the serpent couldn't come at Adam, because Adam had dominion. The Bible tells us Adam had dominion over everything in that garden. Everything. He had dominion over it. So Satan couldn't come at Adam. But because Adam didn't tell Eve all what he should have told, he didn't give Eve the tools that she needed to be able to stand up against this thing, he come toward Eve. He already sitting back. He's sitting back watching. He know that Adam got a thing for Eve, and Eve can get Adam to do whatever Eve want Adam to do. So what did he do? He talked to Eve. He told Eve, look here, eat this here, because God done lied to y'all. Eat this. So Eve ate it. She liked it, and she gave to Adam. And because Adam was so in love with his woman that he lost his focus of God, he did what? He ate. And then their eyes were opened, just like Satan said, but in a negative. Their eyes were open and they saw themselves for real. They saw that they were naked. Now, wait a minute. They didn't know they were naked? No. Because, see, what I think that means is they were naked and they were not ashamed, meaning there was no perversion. The woman could look at the man's body and not get all Twitter paid and excited and this, that, and all kind of stuff going on in her body. And the man could look at the woman and all kind of stuff not going on in his body, and it was just as it was supposed to be. They were married, and everything that they did as a married couple, if you know what I mean, was good. It was all good, and they could do what they wanted to do, and they could enjoy it. But once their eyes were open, their flesh eyes were open, then they saw stuff in a different light, which made them feel a way they shouldn't have felt. Because, see, they got deceived and they lost their focus. And so when God came at the cool of the day, when he would come into the garden to communicate with them, they hid themselves from him. Why? Because now they know they're naked. Now they're ashamed. Well, guess what? You've been naked the whole time you've been in the garden. God ain't cared. He created you. But now all of a sudden, now that you done sinned, you want to run, duck, and hide. Ain't that something? Sin makes us hide. We don't want people to know what we doing, so we won't go around certain people when we sin. People, God, let me be honest with you. It doesn't matter. If you are judgmental, then no, I don't want you to know my business. But if you really got my soul state in my best interest, if you're really praying for my soul, then yeah, I'm going to be open and transparent with you and let you know, look, I ain't got it all together. I got this going on. I did that or I did this. I'm going to let you know that. Because I got a communication with God where I talk to God. Even when I ain't got it all together, I'm praying, I'm communicating with God, and my sin is ever before me, as the psalmist wrote. Understand that communicating with God, or the lack of communication with God, causes us to lose our focus. When we allow the enemy to come in and trick us up and trap us up, we lose our focus on what God wants us to focus on. So people, God, I admonish you today to continue to develop your relationship with God. Fight for your relationship with God at all costs. Fight against the deceptions. The deceptions are going to come. The distractions are going to come. But you've got to fight for your salvation. Now, I will be back again with another video. I don't know if it'll be today. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. Today is September 14th, 2011. This is Evangelist, Minister, Prophetess Yolanda Davis signing out. Have a wonderfully blessed day.